is Trini, and I'm helping Mom cook.
Hi, my name is Carrie Elsen, and I'm with the University of Missouri Extension with Nutrition and Health. And today, Trinity and I are going to cook fruit tarts for you today. So we're going to start off by washing our hands, and we've already washed our hands for you today. Make sure we have a clean area to do things with. So we gather all our ingredients that we need to do this. So we need 4 ounces of reduced fat cream cheese, or low fat, and that would be approximately half of this container. We'll need 3 cups of fresh fruit, or frozen that's already thawed. The other thing, 6 slices of bread, so whole wheat. With our bread that we have for you today, it is not whole wheat because of the limited supplies at the grocery store. And if you look at the ingredient list, the very first ingredient, you want it to say whole wheat. On this bread, it actually says enriched wheat flour. So that is not what we have, but what we're substituting with today. We also have some white bread that I wanted to show an example of the first ingredients that it has. And it says unblanched enriched wheat flour. It was the first ingredient. So those are examples for you today. The next things that we have on our list is 2 tablespoons of honey. There's a lot of added benefits to honey. Lots of research that honey is really good for you. We have vanilla extract and 1/4 of a teaspoon and non-fat milk. So we have 1.5 tablespoons of the milk. So let's get started. So if you're using frozen, it's really important to thaw that out prior to doing it with the fruit. And the other thing is, if your cream cheese is in the refrigerator, to make it mix better, it's easier to leave it out a couple hours so it really mixes, and we had a hard time with that a couple times. The other next step would be to preheat your oven at 350 degrees. And then we've already rinsed and we've already chopped our fruit that we have. And today we're using, for this session, we're using bananas, apples, and strawberries. But other things that you may use for yours would be mangoes, apples, pears, melons, pineapple, berries, or oranges, or even grapefruits, because they come in segments and it's really easy to put it on the piece of bread. So with that said, we'll start with our first bread. So we got out, it says 6 pieces. And so we kind of have a sample for you today and show our first 2. So this is kind of what your bread should look like. We cut off the crust of these 2, and then we'll pat it down about 1/4 of an inch in a second. So this is the other bread that we have. And Trinity, I'll have you take off the edges for us. So these edges, they can be saved for later use and used for breadcrumbs for future meals that you have. And even freeze in an airtight container. So we like to save those for us. Good job, Trent. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our skillet, any size of the skillet, anything to kind of flatten it out. And this is big enough that we could do 4 to 6 at a time. So we like to use it. So we just set it down and we push. And we want about an 1/8 of an inch. And of course, if we didn't get it all the way smashed down, we kind of smash down with our hands too. So nice and smashed for our crust. And then we put it in our pan. And our oven should be good at 350 already. And then to save time for this video, we've already cooked some, but we would put this in our oven for approximately 10 minutes at 350 so they're nice and hard and crisp. So we've already completed some for you. You can kind of see the real thin, kind of crisp. I'm gonna break one so they know how crisp it is, Trent. There you go. It's like a cracker. So we'll put that one to the side. And while they baked, in the 10 minutes, we can make our cream cheese and honey. Mix that together for us to put it on our spread. So the first thing we wanted to do is put our cream cheese in our bowl. And then the next thing is our milk. 4 ounces of the cream cheese. Milk, we've got already pre-measured 1.5 tablespoons that we're going to pour in the bowl. And then the vanilla extract. I'll have Trinity help me in just a second. We have 1/4 teaspoon. You put this in. Help me hold that. There you go. And then we would have 2 tablespoons of honey. And it is thick and really hard to put in here. So we went ahead and did another mixture for you today of the cream cheese and all of the ingredients together. So it says to stir with a spoon, but we found the whisk. You can kind of see the ingredients and how they mix up. And it comes into like a kind of a thin paste, but they do mix up. It just takes a little bit of stirring while you wait on your pans to cook. So we've already got pre-mixed the spread, and I'll have Trinity spread it on one of the toast. And it says to use a heaping tablespoon on there, but I kind of find like each person is a little different to put it on. Some people like a little bit more and some people like a little bit less. So it just kind of depends on how you like that. So this is what she's got going so far. And then I will pull down the fruit for her to kind of design however she wants to eat and place her meal to eat. And you don't want to go first? There you go. Good job, Trin. So with that, she's free to decorate it how she wants, and then that is our fruit tart that we have. I wanted to kind of list off, I have in a PDF document about fresh, frozen, or canned, and there's lots of pros and cons for each. And I just kind of will read over some of those, what to use fresh, frozen, or canned. So fresh, some of the pros, it's lots of variety, and you're able to touch it and smell it. And it can cost less if it's in the season. So they recommend if it's in the season to use those because the cost comes down. But if it's not in season, it's actually could be cheaper to do the freezer section. So the pros for frozen, frozen at peak freshness. So they freeze those whenever there's abundance. Can cost less compared to out of season, like we just talked about. Long shelf life, little preparation is required, and it's available year round. And I looked in the frozen section at my store here locally, and they did not have any mixed fruit for us to use. Canned, the pros for canned at peak, they're canned at peak freshness, can cost less compared to out of season. Long shelf life, little preparation required, and available all around year. Some may have the cons for canned. It may have added sodium, sugar, or fat, and texture changes with canning. The frozen, the cons would be, may have added sodium, sugar, and the texture can change as well. And for fresh fruit, some of the cons for that, it may be used quickly before, you have to use it quickly before it goes bad. And can cost more if it's out of season. So there's those tips that you can kind of look over for you. And again, I wanted to talk about the breads that we talked about. So making sure you read your labels on your breads when you go to buy them. And this is what we had today. So, all right. Trin, is it good? Okay, all right. You tell them bye. Bye. She's getting ready.